sense, then we'll talk about it. But a phishing attempt is essentially somebody attempting to masquerade as somebody legitimate or some representative, and they will try to contact you, most likely through email or any other way, and they'll attempt to trick you into giving them your personal information or putting your personal information in some website that looks legitimate, but by the time you hit submit, your information has now gone to somebody who should not have your information.
I'll put my life in 3 categories or 3 buckets defined based on the geographical areas where I've lived. And those areas have all shaped me to being who I am today. In fact, I'm actually working on a book that speaks to the fact that I'm 1/3 Liberian, 1/3 Swedish, and 1/3 American. And people always ask the question, how can you be one man with 3 different countries? And I say, because you are not who you are because of where you're born. You are who you are because of what you embrace. And that for me is a motto in life, that I embrace where I live, where I move to where I live, and that defines who I am. I consider nationality and all of these things, they're important, but those things are what I consider to be created for practical reasons. Fundamentally, you are who you are because of what you embrace, and what you embrace is defined by what's in your heart and in your mind and in your soul. So I hope that helps to explain my life since I left high school.
Okay, so Roy, both you and Lidra really like you guys really like fly free. So we got 2 people that like fly free. What about you, William and Jason? What do you guys? How you guys feeling? And Ryan, actually, how you guys feeling? You think we're going with fly free, or should we switch it to Cypher.us or CyberDragon? Okay, William agrees with fly free. Okay, fly free can actually stay here. Okay, okay. There it is. We fly free now. Bet. So our company is fly free.
FAA, some of you probably heard about the FAA rule, right? What they do is basically, the first thing is that they try to set up some rules to define what kind of airspace a drone can operate. Okay, but because the number one thing when drone come into play is that the airport people or the pilot, they say, oh, we got to be careful. I don't want to have a drone hit my, commercial airline. Okay, or I don't want to, I don't want to. Well, I already have to worry about the bird. Okay, now I have to worry about the drone, right? Okay, so even drone is small, but it will cause a lot of damage if it bump into a big aircraft, right? So number one thing they want to establish, okay, when it comes to the FAA regulation, is they want to make sure that the drone and the big aircraft can coexist.
So, most important thing with doing any type of workout or whatnot, it's always important to warm the muscles up. Think of your muscles as taffy. If you ever notice when you have hard candy and you take it out of the refrigerator and you try to bite into it, it's really hard and it's more prone to break. Your muscles work exactly the same way. You never want to stretch on cold muscles because you risk pulling something and hurting yourself. So you can do something simple as some jumping jacks, some arm rolls, go side to side, some trunk rotations. Martial arts is about establishing mobility throughout your body. Actually, anyone who has a background in physical therapy especially benefits from doing martial arts because martial arts encompasses multiple different muscles in your body. And furthermore, it's important to understand that all of your muscles work ultimately in your body to keep stability. Everything from the soles of your feet all the way up to your neck can impact how your body moves and interacts with the environment, believe it or not.
I guess I'm gonna just start with me. So I'm from Philly. I'm from really a place where, going to college and like trying to be anything outside of maybe being a manager at like a Walmart was like kind of like out of this world. Like we didn't have like big dreams at not in my neighborhood anyway. So me going to college and like me being where I am now really goes to show that, yeah, you can really come from anywhere and from any place and like actually do something worth doing, or like, you know, sort of be successful. So if you ever see, you know, people out here making like a lot of money, or people out here traveling, or, you know, going on business trips, XYZ, don't think that those things are excluded from you, because they're not. Like, anyone can be out here doing that as long as you have the drive and the will to do it. So I definitely want to encourage everybody to go out and have some big dreams, dream big.
First of all, this is the state senator part is a part-time position. And so my full-time job is in data analytics and marketing. And one of those tough things is like, you know, there's two that I'll talk to you all about. One is some many years ago, I had a business, I started it, I was running it, and it failed. And that was a very hard time for us and our family financially, trying our very best to try to get through that. And this also kind of goes back to as Brother Kareem was talking about, is you know, I leaned on my brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi to help me when I was in, you know, in real need, financial need. It was not easy, but you know, you got to be willing to take a chance.
How come you don't try to move to a place to get more income? To be honest, Virginia is actually one of the best places to be in regards to income in Virginia and Georgia, I would say. Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia are probably your best. Anywhere West Coast, you're losing a lot of money. I currently have a friend at Microsoft. They work with GitHub, and they're actually trying to quit their job because they can't afford to live. And they're working with the big company, but a lot of people don't realize the big companies only pay you so much because they're trying to compensate for your cost of living. So that's also something you have to be on lookout for, is typically you have to consider, you know, where you're going to be or where you're going to live when you're accepting a job offer. That's like one of the most important things you have to do. So it just really depends. But
and I used to think that I wanted to be in law enforcement or I wanted to be a nurse. Well, it turned out that I don't like guns, nor do I like blood. And so I said, what else can I do where I would have an opportunity to use what God gave me, which is my voice? And so I decided to go into public policy and figure out how I can become, you know, in essence, a legislator. I have not become a legislator in the sense of being elected, but I do a lot of work helping legislators. And I became very interested in the work because my grandfather, the late Robert Lee Davis, he was a community advocate. And so he would help out with campaigns and things like that. And I learned about what those people were doing, which was to do policy. And so I decided to do public policy. That's how I got into it.
So this is our demo for the app. So the first level of security is that it requests a password. For the purposes of this demo, there is just a generic password. However, for the real app, you would find that it requests an individual username and password for each unique person. Once you put in the password, you are able to see the drone fuel and the position of your drone. And then you have two modes to select from, auto or manual. In this case, I am going to select auto mode. You want to know the weight of your package in pounds. This is important because per guidelines, you can't exceed 3 pounds, which is something we've also included in our system. So in this case, I'm going to do 2 pounds. How many locations would you like to visit? I am going to say 3. So once you click the location, the drone will automatically direct itself towards the location. And you should see a red ball pop up. And if you see the message delivery successful pop up, that means that your delivery has been successful.